Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mr. Huynh with another lesson. Today's lesson is going to be on using trigonometry to solve for missing angles. In the previous lesson, we went ahead and we used the trigonometric ratios, so, ka, toa. You guys don't remember, to solve for missing sides. Today, we're going to use those same exact trigonometric ratios to solve for missing angles. Now, just to do a quick recap of the unit so far. So we have a few tools to solve for missing sides, right? So one, right, if to solve for missing sides, we have the ability to use, the first one is the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, always try that one out. If you have enough information, you're going to use special triangles. And that involves either 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90. And then we learned trig, and that was just basically using so, ka, toa. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, refer to this unit's video notes to help build your little cheat sheets for your assessments. Highly recommend you do this before you press start on pressing any assessment from here on out. Now, today, like I mentioned, is that we're going to use SOHCAHTOA to solve for missing sides. And the process is, I would say, 75% the same as solving for missing sides, but you have to do one little extra step, and it's pretty simple. So let's start off with number one. We're given two sides, but the thing is, we're trying to solve for the missing angle. And how do you know you're solving for the missing angle? Pretty simple. Is that when you look at the variable value, it has a little degree symbol in there. And if you see that little dot on the very top right of the variable, that means you're solving for the missing angle. And in addition, it's also embedded inside of the triangle. So let's go ahead and solve. Setup's exactly the same thing. You're going to be using SOHCAHTOA. So for number one, let's set this up. We're going to go ahead, use X is going to be our reference angle, right? But it's missing this time. The side that's across from X, that's going to be my opposite. And then the side that's across from the right angle is going to be my hypotenuse. Now, I know the side that's not labeled is my adjacent, but we're not asked to solve for it, nor do we have any information on it. So we don't really need our adjacent value. So what we learned in the previous lesson was to use our acronym SOHCAHTOA to deduce which trigonometric ratio to use. Now, since I have my opposite and I have my hypotenuse, I'm going to go ahead and use so. And the S stands for sine. So we're going to use sine, right? We're going to use sine to solve for the missing angle. So I'm going to go sine. And since I'm missing my reference angle, I'm going to go ahead and press X. I mean, not press X, but write an X as my reference angle. Usually it was a number in the previous lesson. This time we're solving for it, so it can be X. And then we know that sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so that'll be 15 over 24. All right, 15 over 24. The next thing is that we need to get the value of X completely by itself. So going on to this problem, we know that we need to go ahead and try to get rid of sine. So let's go ahead and switch colors on this one. We're trying to go ahead and get rid of sine right here, right? So we're going to get rid of the whole thing. To move sine to the other side, right, let's just do a quick switch. When we move it to the other side, it'll be X is equal to, right? And then we're going to go sine of -1, because it's going from the left to the right side, 15 over 24. And this is the only thing you need to do or put into your calculator to solve for the missing angle. So let's go and do that. Here's my scientific calculator. It's embedded onto the timeline. It's under each assignment so far. So make sure if you haven't done so, bookmark this link. Highly recommend it. So we're gonna press inverse sine. I know it's gonna look something funny when you press it, but you want to go ahead and press this one, sine of -1 or inverse sign, but on here I'll press this arc sign, still the same thing. And going back over here, it says 15/24. So arc sign 15 divided by 24, and I'm going to close it. And then notice that right there, my angle is read to 1 decimal place as 38.7 degrees. So since we're only going 1 decimal place, it'll be 38.7. So going back over here, my final answer, x is going to be equal to 38.7 degrees. All right, 38.7 degrees. All right, let's do another one. All right, let's do another one. All right, let's go to number 6. So number 6, we're asked to find x. And since there's a degree symbol on the very top, we're going to go ahead and know that we're going to solve for our reference angle. All right, so for our reference angle, let's go and label our sides. Across from it, that's going to go ahead and be my opposite. And then, since there's no information given on my hypotenuse, the side that's across from the right angle, there's no hypotenuse. So therefore, this side must be my adjacent. So for number 6, let's do the same thing. Let's go ahead and write SOHCAHTOA. So SOHCAHTOA. And we're going to figure out which one has my adjacent and my opposite. Well, the only thing that's there is going to be O and A, so therefore we're going to be using our tangent function to solve for our reference angle. So it'll be tangent, since we're missing the angle, that'll be tangent of x is equal to, and then opposite over adjacent will be 7/5. And the exact same process as follows, is that we're going to move the tangent to the other side because our goal is to isolate the x. So we're going to have tangent, whoops, go ahead and let me erase that real quick. I jumped ahead on that. Let's erase this. We're gonna go ahead and have x, since the tangent's moving from the left to the right side, tan -1 7/5, and then put that into your calculator. So over here, I'm gonna go ahead and clear it up, the AC right here. Inverse tan, remember, don't press tan because that's solving for the side. Since we're trying to solve for the missing reference angle, we're going inverse tan. I know it's going to appear as arctan, that's fine. 7 divided by 5. We're going to go ahead and close that sucker, press enter, and then our angle is 54.5 degrees, right? Because we're rounding it to 1 decimal place, so 54.5 degrees. So that's going to be x is equal to 54.5 degrees. The next few set of problems past 1 through 6, they're going to go ahead and mix it up. They're going to go ahead and mix it up in terms of solving for missing sides or missing angles. So for number 8, let's go ahead and circle the variable, all right? I'm going to circle the variable, so up x. Note that the x is on the outside. So, and also, not only it being in the outside, there's no degree symbol. So this means that we're solving for a missing side. So they give you our reference angle of 46. Don't ever use 90, right? Your reference angle 46. And let's go ahead and label our side. So across from this, that's my opposite, but nothing's labeled there. So we don't really need to label our opposite. The side that's across from the right angle, that's going to be my hypotenuse. And the x is the adjacent because we already identified the opposite as irrelevant in this problem. So we got to go ahead for number 8, right? We're going to do the same thing, SOHCAHTOA. And since we're given our hypotenuse, but we need to find our adjacent, that would leave cosine or ca as the choice. So that'll be cosine. We're given our reference angle. We're given the angle that we're supposed to use. So use it to your benefit, 46. And then that'll be x over 28. And if you remembered from the previous lesson, is that if there is a number that is in the numerator, you're going to go ahead and multiply it by 28 on both sides. These cross out, so leaving as x is equal to 28 cosine 46. And all you need to do is put that into your calculator. So when you do that, that'll be 28 Remember, it's not inverse because we didn't bring the cosine to the other side. Cosine, and I'm sorry, I forgot what the angle was, 46. Close it. And so that'll be 19.45, which one decimal place would round to 19.5. So this is going to be 19.5 is equal to x. And we don't need to go ahead and write the degree symbol since it is solving for a missing side. All right, so I know this stuff is kind of foreign. You didn't really learn this stuff in your previous class, nor in the first half of geometry. But you know, I'm here to help you out. So before you take the quiz on Friday, if you need a little bit more help, definitely come onto the Google Meet from, I believe I have it from 10:30 to 12, and we can go ahead and go over some problems to help you guys out. All you need to do is tell me what's the date of the assignment, say Wednesday's assignment and problem number, and I'll be glad to help you guys out. So anyways, miss you guys a lot. Take care, stay safe, and see you next time.